For my autobiography, I chose to draw my life. Enjoy! It all started with my mom and my dad. They were like Superman and Superwoman to me. And then I was born on August 11, 2002. And my full name is Kayla Carlson Wolf. And my parents actually thought I was a boy, but I was a girl. We lived in a town called Centennial. It's kind of close to Denver, in a neighborhood called Foxfield. My dad at the time owned a mortgage company called Arapahoe Mortgage, and my mom was a graphic designer and her company was called eWolf Designs. And shortly after preschool, my sister was born on May 27th, 2004. Her full name is Julia Miller Wolf, and I was only about 2 years old. Then one day at our neighborhood pool, Chaparral Pool, home of the Chaparral Sharks, I met somebody. I met my best friend today, who is Nora, and she still lives down in Centennial, and we are still in contact today. And then I got to kindergarten and I went to a school called Creekside Elementary, and I rode the bus every day, and there was literally only 3 people on the bus. And then also while I was in kindergarten, my dad got very sick, and I was only 5 years old. I remember every day I would come home and there would be lots of people over. Me and my sister would call these parties, but they were more like gatherings of people that loved and supported us. I remember one time at one of the gatherings, my mom was crying and Nora's mom was comforting her. And I remember that day saying to my mom, "Mommy, Daddy will be okay." Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Later on, I remember getting a trampoline for one of my birthdays, and it was probably the best birthday present I'd ever gotten. But my mom didn't do something right, so it flew into my neighbor's yard, and I was so upset. My mom never got a trampoline ever again. And then when I got to first grade, and my teacher was the best. I loved her so much. Her name was Miss Hauser, and I hugged her every morning. I think first grade was my best year. Summer after first grade, I went to my first summer camp with Nora. It was so fun, except it was very religious camp, and Nora and I weren't really into that kind of thing. I remember in second grade, I had this friend, and she was always really nice to me, but one day she came up to me and told me she didn't want to be friends with me anymore, and that really hurt my feelings. After that, I realized some people out there aren't very nice. And then after second grade, my first dog, Sousa, died, and we moved to Evergreen, Colorado. So I started third grade at my new school, King Murphy. That year I met a lot of great people that I still am friends with today, but now go to different schools. I remember this picture of my third grade class, and I remember this was the worst day because I didn't know that it was picture day, and I didn't wear my nicest clothes, and also my lips were very chapped, and it was just miserable. I remember I had this teacher, and I thought she was so cool because she was from Hungary. Her name was Miss Nikovich. After third grade, I wasn't doing much during the summer, so my mom signed me up for another summer camp called Sanborn Western Camps. I loved it so much, and I met some really great people, and the camp was only for 2 weeks, so I only got to spend time with them for that long. Around fourth grade, I started to have a love for sports. I played soccer, gymnastics, dance, and I also did softball. And I always never had time to do homework after school because I was so busy all the time. In both 5th and 4th grade, I wasn't doing so well in school. So my mom looked at a school called Rocky Mountain Academy of Evergreen, or also known as RMAE. And I remember the day I shadowed. I had a really fun day, and I'd known some kids from dance, and it happened to be Renaissance Day for the 5th grade. So my mom decided to move me right away, and I was so excited to be at a new school. And even though I knew I was going to meet new people and I was so excited, I was very sad because I was leaving my old friends. And then later that year, I moved again. Not schools, but houses. For the 3rd time. We lived in a rental house not far from the Evergreen Rodeo, and we would always go and see the shows, and when there was nothing there, we would take off our shoes and play in the sand where all the horses would be. Then my mom met a man named Bob from tennis, and he was always very strict, and he would always talk to me about table manners, like don't put your elbows on the table and don't scrape your fork on your teeth. Then I went to camp again, and I met a lot of really great people. But unfortunately, I didn't stay in contact with them. And then I went to camp for the 3rd year in a row, and I got closer with some girls that had been in my cabin last year, which their names were Rachel, Mia, Lincoln, and Sophia. Then I got to 7th grade, and I did the school play, Guys and Dolls, and that was truly the highlight of my year. Even though I wasn't a big role, I still had the most fun I had ever had in a long time. And then getting to this year, I'm meeting so many more new people, and I'm doing much more exciting things, and getting prepared for high school.